Picture this. You got a boo-boo. So you have to go to the hospital. When you're in the waiting room, how are you feeling? Are you feeling like, oh my God, I feel terrible, but I'm in a space where I feel like I can get better? There's staff that are attentive to me. The lighting's good. There isn't a lot of pandemonium or chaos happening. It's just a calm space. Or are you feeling like, oh my God, I'm in this either poorly lit or blinding fluorescent light space where there's beeping noises and doohickeys and whirligigs spinning around everywhere. Everyone's going crazy, and you feel like you're in some sort of backrooms fever dream. Because the reality is, a lot of people feel like they're in that latter category. You don't feel like you're in a space where you can get better. You feel like, okay, this is where people go to die. So that begs the question, what's going on with the way our hospitals are designed? The fact is, when allocating budgets, hospitals tend to prioritize making sure they have enough equipment, which makes sense. But other than that, there isn't really room in the budget to make the space look nice. And sure, that might be good for your bottom line, but in reality, if you're a patient, you want to be in a space where you feel like you can get better and you feel like the design of the space could contribute in some way, because every little bit helps. What is the purpose of hospital design? Is it just to, house patients in? Or should there be another variable to it, a higher, loftier ambition, a space that can actually promote wellness for people? And we're going to talk about some examples of hospitals that actually get designed right, that are built today. So don't go anywhere. My name is Angelo, and this is Architecture with Angelo. In the industrializing world, cities had a lot of problems. They were crowded. There were people stacked in these tenements. There was little public infrastructure and utilities. And there was just a lot of disease that spread. The late 19th century, early 20th century, this was really bad. The three leading causes of death for the time were influenza, tuberculosis, and diarrhea. These are attributed to being in close confines with people and allowing for a lot of disease and bacteria spread, and also being exposed to things like bad food. We were figuring out germ theory at the time, but the science wasn't really there to tackle all of these ailments. As a result, a strategy that doctors used was saying, hey, we have all these sick people. Let's just push them somewhere else. Let's take them out of these crowded cities, which are full of pollution and noise and just all these stressors. Let's take them to a relaxing area in the countryside where they can go, they can smell the fresh air, they can be exposed to natural light, in hopes of one day them getting better. So sanatoriums weren't really a new concept, but they expanded further in the early 20th century, and they fused with the latest design trends to produce a very impactful hospital design. So we're going to head to the Paimio Sanatorium located in Finland. So let's pack our Nokias and head on over. So the winning design for the Paimio Sanatorium is revered for its skillful combination of the latest architectural principles and styles with the latest in medical technology. The goal of the design was to actually provide a space for wellness on all fronts. Yes, having the medical technology angle is important and it's there, but there's also a patient-centered approach to design that is manifested in every conceivable detail of the building, down to the color of the walls and the angle of the sun shading and the furniture and even the height of the sinks and their design. This building is an example of modern architecture. In summary, it's just the style is doing away with the old, stuffy, elaborate buildings of the past, and instead is creating this style that we're all familiar with, which is more minimal and is just focused on the function of what the building is supposed to do. The form follows the function. In the case of this building, the function of the design is to help people get well. So that is tunnel vision, razor focus approach for Alto and his wife. So the building is designed with, it's in 3 wings. The A wing is patient housing. The B wing is communal space, dining room, and also a reception area. And the C wing is more back of house. That's for kitchen, staff, all that kind of stuff. And the placement of these different wings are crucial to the success of the design. The building is organic in the sense that it draws from nature. And one particular piece of nature, part of a tree that's very important, is a leaf. A leaf has a lot of surface area because it allows for the sun to nourish it. I'm not really a biology guy, but it goes to the chloroplast and allows for the photosynthesis to occur for the tree to keep existing. In the case of this hospital, the building, the individual patient rooms are lined up along the southern portion of the property because in the northern hemisphere, that is the angle at which direct sunlight occurs. That's why you have in your house, you have a side of the house that gets a lot of shade because it's likely facing the north. So in the summertime, a patient can say, okay, I want to go outside, which is fine because it's nice out. But in the wintertime, when it's colder, they might want to stay indoors more. The sunlight can still radiate through and it can, improve their mood, which is a very important part of getting well. There's this connection between light and positivity, light and improvement. And that idea is a critical element to the success of this hospital. By having patients be in a space where they feel like their needs are taken care of, first and foremost, it allows for a greater success rate, a greater survival rate. And in addition to this, there are other tips and strategies that the architects use. So the colors that are used are more pastel-y, light colors, which can give each floor a sense of place that differentiates it from the other floor. It can also be good for wayfinding and directions. And the shape of the sinks is also to prevent people from having to put too much effort in, stretching out your hands and washing your hands, and also preventing any distracting, annoying splashes that can be quite a nuisance for the patients. So on those fronts, you also see that patient-centered design. You even see it in the furniture. So the Pymeo chair, which is an iconic feature of the hospital, is very easy to clean. It's a design that is comfortable for the patients. And again, it comes back to this idea of a hospital that is actually for the patients and is designed specifically for the patients to improve and for them to get better. Now, compare that to your local hospital. Odds are that the two don't even come close. Sure, your local hospital has the latest medical technology, but in this hospital, you're not going to feel like you're in the back rooms. So there's that. Now that I talked about an example of a hospital that is very, very well designed, let's look at a modern, contemporary hospital design that was built recently. So let's get into it. So a good example of hospital design is the Isla Meppel Hospital, located in the Netherlands. Look at the textures. Nice earth-like textures that seek to contradict the stereotype that says that hospitals are supposed to be this white, sterile environment. Think about the emotions that a patient might feel by going through these hallways and experiencing this space. They think, oh, maybe I can get better in this space, actually. The health conscious aspect to it is important too. I think there's a green roof and a shading system that can function to maximize natural light for the patients in the hospital. So while white modernism in old hospital designs did have its place, like with the Pymeo Sanatorium, technology now it's caught up where you can have these new building materials, and they can be easy to maintain and easy to sterilize. You can experiment with different looks. You can have a more natural look. It doesn't have to just be white and austere. You can have that emotion to it that can really make the hospital a space where patients can feel like they can get better. So the next time you go to a hospital, if you're not in too much pain, stop, look around, think. How do I feel when I'm in this space? What can make it better? More natural light, better colors. If more of us have that patient-centered approach to design, sky's the limit in terms of what we could do as citizens and what designers could do in their respective fields. Hopefully, the new crop of architects will think about this when they're designing hospitals and other healthcare facilities. And hopefully, the days of ugly back rooms, surrealist, chaotic interiors will be long gone. Thanks for watching. Once again, I am Angelo, and this is Architecture with Angelo.